Good evening, Crumbers. Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday evening. And another kitchen live. It is getting closer to Christmas, and we've got 2 of these left, midweek ones, and 2 Sunday ones left as well, which is quite scary. I can't believe we're halfway to Christmas already. Almost. But good evening, welcome wherever you are in the world. I hope you're well, and thank you for joining me. This evening is going to be all about Christmas trees, and you guys have been voting on Facebook and Instagram and in the group and on YouTube and everything. And we've got a winner. So this evening, as you can see, we're going to be doing a tear and share Christmas tree. But don't worry, if you voted for the Christmas tree brownies, I'm going to do them next week because there was much sadness for me and in the house that we didn't that the Christmas tree brownies didn't win the vote, and it was really close. I think there was just about 2 votes in it. So don't worry, if you voted for Christmas tree brownies, we're going to do it next week because yes, he was very sad. I was happy. I wanted to do this one. So we've got a balance, but the Christmas tree brownies will be here next week. And just as usual, we're just going to give it a few seconds for everybody to come in. I can see you guys joining. So yay! I hope you've had a really good Wednesday so far. It's been a busy day with work. So for me, so it's time to get into the kitchen and do some baking. And today's is going to be super simple. I promise you, there's not a lot to this one. So as it says, let's go! Yay! Oh dear, here we go. So if you haven't met me before, hi, I'm Lou from Crumbs and Corkscrews over on the Facebook page, Instagram, blog, YouTube, the Facebook group. I'm the recipe writer, developer, host. I used to have a bakery, decided to go back to full-time work, and so I continued what I really love doing as a blog, and my whole thing is around deliciously easy desserts. And I am totally dessert obsessed, especially if it's got chocolate or something like that in it. But it is all about deliciously easy, and we normally make most of what we're doing from scratch, but today it's even easier, trust me. We are going to be making a tear and share Christmas tree, and I've not made one before, so this is a first for me as well, so fingers crossed. So it's not going to look like that because that is a picture of a Christmas tree. But this, if you've seen it, it's everywhere for me at the moment. It's on Instagram, it's on my Facebook, it's on all the things that I'm reading of these amazing sort of like big puff pastry Christmas trees that you see. I'm just going to tweak the focus there on the old camera. That's better. So yeah, this is one of those ones, if you've seen it, it's like the Christmas tree and it's all twisted and it's full of, the ones that I've been seeing have been full of Nutella, that you can get savoury ones that are full of cheese and tomato and spinach and ricotta and all sorts. But we're going to be doing a chocolate version this evening, and I really wanted to do this because, you know, I'm seeing them everywhere, but also I have some puff pastry sheets in the freezer that needed using up. As we're getting ready to move, I'm eating, not just me, Ian is eating as well, but we're eating our way through the freezer. So we decided wanted to try this out with the puff pastry sheets that needed doing. So this is a bit of, from what I can see, it's a bit of a festive party favourite for getting everybody together. Now, yes, we are in the middle of a pandemic and we have rules and regulations that we're not meant to follow, for gathering, but this could be really great for a family movie night as well. You know, you put the favourite movie on. And I don't know if it would be After Christmas, the latest Grinch, or Elf for me. Probably After Christmas. I love that movie. But it's really good fun to get around and share and have a popcorn or watching a movie. Or like I say, you could fill this with cheese instead and have it as a centerpiece with lots of other bits and pieces and a savory sort of tear and share going out there. We're going to be using a chocolate spread, but you can switch this around. Like I say, you can do it savory or you can do it sweet, and we'll talk about the different things that you could maybe put in there instead. And the thing is, like I say, deliciously easy. This is absolutely zero faff. We're not making the pastry, so don't panic. We're not making the pastry. It's all store-covered ingredients. You can make it as complicated if you want. If you want to make your own puff pastry, be my guest. We had a discussion chat going on the Facebook page a couple of weeks ago, and you guys were telling me, actually, when it comes to puff pastry, we buy it. Unless it's a really special occasion and we've got the time to do it. But normally we're going to buy our puff pastry. Short crust pastry we tend to make, and we're going to be making some short crust in just before Christmas when we do our mince pies. But today it is all about the store-bought pastry. There is absolutely no faffing on this one. It really, really is easy. The only thing that you really need to decide is what's going in and who you're going to share it with, if you want to share it with anyone. So let's take a look at our ingredients. And it's really, really simple. We need 2 sheets of puff pastry. And I took them out of the box because they were frozen. I'm just using the Just Roll puff pastry sheets, and they come already pre-rolled like this, and all we're going to do is unroll it. You can buy blocks of puff pastry if you prefer, and you just need to roll it out so they're about the same sort of size. You can now buy a lower fat puff pastry if you sort of want to, but we know we're going to stuff this one full of chocolate, so you might just go full fat, full butter on that. But it's the puff pastry that we want because it's going to puff up and be really, really lovely and flaky. For your filling then, we're going to be using just a milk chocolate spread. I'm nut free, but if you are Nutella obsessed, Nutella is what I'm seeing everybody put in these Christmas trees online. So grab the Nutella and dollop it on, but we don't want too much. And when we put it onto our pastry, we'll talk about why. Too much is just going to spread out. It's going to become really messy. So it's about 4 tablespoons, so probably between 80 and 100 grams of chocolate spread. You could, if you want to, I've got loads of these, use this is a crunchy spread, which has got little pieces of honeycomb in, crunchy bits, or you can use you can get them that are milk chocolate and white chocolate, or caramel and chocolate like the crunchy ones. You could use Biscoff as well, the Biscoff spread, the Lotus spread. I think this might be a bit too sweet though. As much as I like it, I think it might be a bit too much for me. So I'm just going to save this and eat it by the spoonful. You could also just use like a cinnamon sugar instead, a cinnamon sugar mix, some extra orange peel, all those sort of things. Or you can use mincemeat. Now, we made this a couple of weeks ago. This is one of the jars that I've siphoned off of my big jar. But you could fill it with mincemeat as well and have like a mincemeat puff pastry Christmas tree. So you've got more of the mince pie vibe going on. And I've got this out because I'm hopefully going to use it with some of the offcuts when we've made our tree. So for your tear and share tree, that's your main ingredients, the pastry and, in our case, the milk chocolate spread filling. For the filling, for over the top, once it's baked, you might want to sprinkle some icing sugar or some cinnamon sugar, depending on what you've got in there as well. And the only other thing that you're going to need is just an egg, because we're going to egg wash it. So we've just got that ready to go later, and we're going to just beat it together and then wash it all over the top of the pastry. So there are our ingredients: puff pastry, a filling, an egg, and some sugar. Really, really simple. This is why this is all over the social media things, because it's quick and easy. For our equipment then, you're going to want a baking sheet. Now, I'm not sure can't remember what size these come out at when they're unrolled. So I've just got my flat cookie sheets, which we'll see, or I've got here the big baking tray that goes in the oven, which I have, and both of them I've just lined with a reusable Silpat baking sheet, but I've also got a little bit of baking parchment on the top for this. You're also going to need something to spread. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That could be Facebook. Fingers crossed. I think I'm still here. If I'm not, can you let me know? So yeah, you're also going to need something to spread your chocolate spread with, so a spatula or a spoon or a palette knife or something like that. We're going to cut this into a tree shape and lots of little twisted branches. So you're going to need a sharp knife, or if you're doing this with the smalls, you could just use pizza cutter and obviously supervise them because these still are quite sharp. This helps give a really good smooth line, and you haven't got to jump around with a knife as well. You're also going to need a pastry brush for egg washing your pastry, and you're going to need a star cookie cutter, which I totally forgot to get out the baking cupboard. So let's just grab one of those. I think that's the right size. This is my baking cupboard with all my bits and pieces in. So you're also going to need a star cutter, about 5 centimeters or so across. This one's probably a little bit bigger than I wanted to, but that's the next one down I've got is too small. So that's our star cutter. And then we're ready to go. So the first thing you need to do is preheat your oven. This is going to go into an oven that's at 180 degrees C or 350 Fahrenheit. Again, I've been asked if you're doing hot, if you've got top and bottom heat, you want both of them on, and you want to be putting it in the middle. If you're a fan oven, go for the middle anyway. It gives you've got the fan to circulate your air. If you are not a fan oven though, you do want to probably make it about 200 degrees. But we're going for 180, 350. I'm just going to remove strain baking tray. So then, our puff pastry. Let's get rid of the fillings we're not going to need. And see what happens. I say this is going to be a quick one. It's really simple. But, well, they make it look simple on all these, like, if anyone follows people like Tasty or Twisted Food, they make it look simple. So let's just grab the hair back, and then, whoop. There we go. Get that out of the way. And so the Just Roll comes in, this pack comes in 2 sheets. And if I remember, this has been in the freezer for probably just the right amount of time, but I have also found that you can buy them in single sheets as well. So you might just want to make a sheet and cut it in half and have a smaller one if it's just yourself or just 2 of you. Ian will eat most of this, so and I'm going to do it in this tray. I think I'm looking at this swirl, and there's actually quite a lot of pastry in there. So I'm going to unroll it first, I think. Just before we lift it in and get it to a point where it's unrolled rather than trying to do it in there. And these ready roll pastries, oops, this one's breaking up a little bit, but not to worry. It's all right. Come on, little pastry. Might have a little bit of freezer burn, but it's on the edges, so that's fine. It's not too bad. just gently unroll it. That's why I'm doing it off the tray for the moment. Yeah, my edges are a little cracking, but that's fine. Don't panic, Louise. It's not. Oh, actually, we might get away with this onto. Actually, no, we'll do it in the big pan because it's just easier, just in case we don't want to lift things out and have too many issues. So gently just unrolling this, trying not to crack it. Now this has been in the freezer, so this could be cracking due to freezer burn, but if if you're using fresh puff, or you've just got it straight from the store or something, it won't crack on the edges. But we are going to cut this into a big triangle, so it's not too bad. Just what I thought I might do with the mincemeat might not happen, but hey. So I'm just going to get rid of these little cracked bits, and I've got a little bit of an edge still to do, so I'm just going to lift that not onto that, because that's not going to work. Just pulling this through at the very, very ends. Oops. So yeah, if you are joining and you're hoping for the Christmas tree brownies, they will be next week because I had a very disappointed Ian. So what I'm going to do then is, okay, so that is going to be this length here, and I'm just going to roll it up gently so I can place it then. She says gently. Well, that was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Onto my baking parchment. In here. Get rid of that. Some ready roll or ready pastries have the grease proof between them, so you can do it in a different way. Now this has, I've just got this in the wrong position, but never mind. What I'm going to do is just chop off a little bit on the top. I've got a spare piece of baking parchment here, put that on there. So it's just in here like so. And like I say, this is pastry that's been in the freezer, which is why it's cracking a little bit, but don't worry, it's not too bad. Now, that's pretty much all we need to do with here. You'll need to sort of work out where your Christmas tree is going to be, and it's easier sort of to get this ready before you start spreading on the chocolate. But I'm just trying to think, what am I going to do? I think I might, because what I was going to do was use the offcuts with mincemeat. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to spread all of mine with chocolate, then place the other sheet on the top, and then cut my Christmas tree shape out from that. If you want to do other things with the offcuts that we're going to make, you could cut this into your tree first, then spread your chocolate spread on. Pop your next sheet on the top, and you'll be able to see the outline of your Christmas tree underneath. But I'm just going to go for a full coating of milk chocolate spread here, and then pop my next one on the top. So it's a fresh one. This is the best bit with these, is opening. It's like opening a jar of coffee. So, and we're just going to spread this very, very gently. I'm just using a milk chocolate spread. You can use Nutella. And it's about 4 tablespoons. And I'm just going to dollop a couple of those in strategic places on here. Now, you don't want to be doing too much chocolate spread, because what will happen is when we twist it and it bakes, you're going to get really messy, and you want it to be able to sort of be nice, get a nice layer there. So, you know, try not to put too much on, and because it just gets messy. If anybody's ever made a babka loaf, you'll know what it's like when you roll it up and you slice it through. So I'm just spinning my baking sheet round and just getting an even layer. And I'm using for this, you can use a spatula, you can use the back of a spoon. I'm just using, as always, my trusty offset palette knife just to move that around. So that was 3 good tablespoons. I'm just going to put 1 more on, and I'm leaving a little bit of an edge here. So this is the mess. This is the bit I make an absolute mess with, I tell you. I think I did when we did the Nutella brownies as well. So let's just, like I said, if you want to as well, at this point, once you've spread, if you're a nuts fan, you know, if you've got Nutella in there, you could add some chopped hazelnuts in, or some crunchy pieces, some honeycomb pieces, like with the crunchy spread. You could dollop on some dulce de leche, some caramel sauce as well, and things. So we're just getting a nice smooth, there we go, chocolate spread all over. And so that's sort of about 4 tablespoons. It's about 100 grams of the chocolate spread. And next then we're going to unroll and pop on our second sheet of puff pastry. So I'm going to do the same again and unroll this and see how it comes out. Fingers crossed. So these have been in the freezer, so that's why I've got a little bit of a dry, cracked edge, but right. Roll this one out. This one's coming easier than the last one. And I'm doing it off rather than on top of the thing, because if I get it in the wrong place and I need to move it around, I'm sort of a bit stuck by then. It's too late. So just gently unrolling. This would make good, like I say, for a movie night, if you're watching Christmas movies or Christmas Eve with the kids, or mind you, trying to get them to bed, feeding them more chocolate, or just fun things. You can do it. I say you could make this with a savoury centre, like ricotta, cheese and spinach filling, or like you could do like a pizza, sort of a tomato and cheese and tomato with mozzarella in it. That might be quite that could be quite cool actually. So we've unrolled that. Again, it has got a little bit of a crack on my edges. Again, this is because it's been frozen pastry. And I'm going to try and get this now. Try, she says, into the same position as I had. Let's move this here. The other one. So straight up. Hey, and down. Let's get rid of that. I've just got a little bit there, so I'm just going to stretch it through. And this is our chocolate spread puff pastry sandwich. So now is the time we're going to cut this and into our Christmas tree shape and start twisting it. So first off, I think I'm going to do my base at this end. So I'm going to use a mixture of a knife and a pizza cutter. If you've got a ruler, this is a metal one I use for royal icing. It can help if you want to make sure you're getting even lines or anything like that. Now half the fun is doing it by eye anyway, but you do want to sort of find the middle. And from the middle there, we want to sort of mark out our trunk, and we want it to be about 3 centimeters wide. And this is the area down the middle that we're not going to cut. We're going to cut up to, but not cut into, because what we're then going to do is the branches we're going to twist. So you get this puff pastry center, and then these twisted branches. So the easiest way to do it, from what I've from my perspective, is, and I've been founded, is to mark out, think where our center is, mark a little bit there, and then about 1.5 centimeters on either side. So that I've marked that out. And then I want to make a little bit of a trunk. So I'm going to come up, might actually do this with a pizza wheel, and I'm going to come up then sort of about an inch, 2 inches. So I've got a trunk on where I marked that. So you can probably just see I've got a couple of little cuts there. And from here, before I continue, I'm just going to do with the blunt side of the knife, I'm just going to give myself a visual guide of where I want to cut to. So I'm just marking the top of my puff pastry, but I'm not cutting it. So that's where I know I'm going to cut up to with my branches. Where I've got the base of my tree now with my trunks, I'm just going to cut across one side, and that's the beauty of this actually, and then 2 sides. And let's just get something to put these offcuts onto. So I'm just going to get I've got a spare baking sheet and a bit of my silicone bake mat. I'm just going to put that there so I can take these bits off. Oops. And just pop them on the side. Now these can be offcuts. Things. So let's just, you might need the knife at points just to help. Come on. So I've got my little trunk and I've got my 2 lines where I know where I don't want to cut any further from. So the next thing is we need to make that classic Christmas tree triangle shape. So where my lines are here, I'm going to make 2 triangle cuts from the top down to the far corners of the base, and that will end up with another 2 triangles of pastry. So I want to make a little bit of a point on the top, and I'm not very good at drawing straight lines or anything, so forgive me on this. Take off the little bits and then, oops, come on, I'm going to lift that one off. The other reason for doing it in here is all the little bits are contained. And then I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So I'm going to come down to here from the top. Oops. I am the person that can't cut bread straight. I am a left-handed hopelessness sometimes. Let's just get rid of all these extra little bits, and I'm just going to trim. I've got a little bit left where the pizza cutter there, and I'm just going to trim that off. So you're left with a Christmas tree shape. And these offcuts then, you can do various things with them. As you can see, they're full of chocolate filling. And with our star cutter then, for the top of our tree, I'm just going to cut out a star out of one of those big triangles. And, oops, sorry, that's off camera a little bit. Oops. So I've got a star ready to go on the top. And those are the bits I might cut up, I might swirl them up or things like that. If you had done it so you didn't have the chocolate in those areas, you could, what I was hoping to do and didn't quite happen was I was going to fill them and make them into little mincemeat swirls, but we'll still do that in a couple of weeks' time anyway. So back to our Christmas tree then, and next thing is where we've made those two gentle marks up the middle so we know where our trunk is. We're now going to cut our branches, and we want them to be about 2 centimeters thick, too narrow, too small, less than that. When we twist it, it's just going to get really messy and it's not going to make us. So you want them about 2 centimeters. I'm making an absolute mess here this evening. You can do it with the knife or you can do it with a pizza cutter. So where your, I might do it with the knife actually, but where you had your mark for the center of the trunk, cut from out to the edge. And then you want to do that all the way up. So you're going to end up with sort of like a comb effect on those Christmas tree branches. But we're not going to hit this middle section because we still want that. It will keep it and hold it and give it some structure. And obviously they're going to get smaller the higher up the Christmas tree we go. So I don't know if you'll catch it on the light, but we've got about 2 centimeters on that side. I'm going to spin it around and match them as closely as I can on the other side. You could also, I've seen people do this with chocolate bars, and instead of doing this, they folded them on top of each other instead, so you almost plait it rather than do this twist. Oops. So I'll just put that back on there so I don't cut myself. Yeah. Note, safety precaution, do not put your hands in the washing up bowl when there is a very sharp knife in it. Alternatively, do not put the very sharp knife in the washing up bowl. It hurts. So we've got our tree then, and we've cut it out, we've got our trunk, we've got our branches. Now, we're going to twist them. Obviously, the ones at the bottom here where they're longer, it's going to be easier. And 30-minute can warning. The ones at the top where they're not very thick, obviously we're not going to twist, so we're just going to leave those to go on their own. But what you want to do is gently pick up the branch. You might need, depending on your pastry, you might need a little bit of extra help, and twist it 1.5 or 2 times depending on how far you can. So I'm just going to twist it, there we go, over on itself. I can't see if you can see. Oh, Amita says she loves the Christmas jumper, very festive. We went for the polar bears today with the little polar bear on the back. His little tail on the back. I am running out of Christmas jumpers, so you might see it again. So we're twisting. And then back in with the next one, and just don't lift it too high, don't force it to twist, let it do it what it needs to. Remember, it's pastry and chocolate in there, so it's quite soft, but this is why we're saying we don't want to overfill that. It needs to be sort of a reasonable amount of filling, just a thin layer, because imagine if this was chock full now of chocolate spread, it's just going to get really, really messy. So I'm just continuing to twist these up as we go through. And I started with about 2 twists at the bottom. We're now on about 1 or 2, 1.5, one little one there. Let's just keep going. And this is the tear bit. So these are the bits you're going to tear off and share or keep. Ian is out this evening on his mountain bike, so he might be lucky to come home to some. You know, I might just share it with myself. Thank you for that suggestion, Gina. And now we're at the top where it's tight. This is a little difficult to tear. So I'm going to stop where it is too narrow at the top to twist. So I'm going to come back. I am already covered in chocolate. I'm just going to twist again. And remember, I've twisted away from me, so you want to be trying to do the same on the opposite side. I almost didn't, so pick it up and give it bottom one to about 2 twists. I'm going to have to just do this the left-hand way, twist it up, support it if you need to with your other hand, twist it round. I say this is super simple. We have only used 2 ingredients because we've used shop bought pastry and we've used the chocolate spread, or like I say, you can use Nutella. You can fill it with stuff as well. I had looked at the chocolate drops. I've got white chocolate drops. I thought that could be quite cool in there as well. But we've just gone with the chocolate spread here, and it is messy. But you know what? It's Christmas. And I've got one last one just at the top here. I'm going to just give a little twist to match the opposite side. I'm just going to rinse my hands. So now we've got our tree all twisted and ready to go. And we've made a mess as per usual. That star that we cut out from our offcuts, I'm just going to place to one side for the moment because we're going to stick that to our tree with a little bit of egg wash. So the last thing we need to do before we pop this in the oven is just crack our egg, give it a whisk up, which means I need the tiny whisk. Where is it? A fork, or we've got this tiny whisk. Just whisk it up. You can use milk if you prefer. Just get rid of the whisk. And then just with a pastry brush, we're just going to brush all over our pastry. So we're just going to start at the top here to give it a egg wash. I'm just going to pop the star straight on there and go back in with some more egg wash. And all the way down. This is going to give it a lovely golden colour. And you can see down the middle where we saved that area. We marked that out. That's probably a little bit more than 3 centimetres, but you want about 3 centimetres, 3 to 5 centimetres down the middle. It's just because it's a support for that middle bit, for those twists. If this was too thin when we were making them twists, it's just going to fall apart. It's not going to work too well. I'm just going to give my ends a really, where they've got the little bit of dried out during defrost and things. So good egg wash all over. I've also got these little bits from that we had left over. What I think I'm going to do is I'm just gonna make them into little. That one's not going to work, but we're just gonna hold on. Can't waste it, so I might just make them into some little swirls here and pop them into a cupcake tin. Let's think about that for a moment. These are the offcuts really, but hey, let's get this in. So this is ready to go in. This is our Christmas tree, preheated to 180 degrees C, 350 Fahrenheit with top and bottom heat. If you're top and bottom, I just need to move some baking sheets around, and this is going to go in now. So straight in, and it's about 15 minutes. So we're going to pop it on for 12 minutes and see how we go. There. Then on these offcuts, I mean, there's so much here. So what I had been hoping was that I wasn't going to get chocolate in the middle of the fillings of the offcuts, and I was going to fill those with mincemeat instead. But I'm just thinking what we could do. I've just got a cupcake tray there, and I'm thinking if I roll these up, we can just make a couple of quick, like a cinnamon roll round the chocolate. I'm just gonna make them into like a big snail and then pop it in the cupcake tray. You can do all sorts. All the kids can just make things with it. I'm just gonna make that into like a little rosette, see what happens. And actually the rest is just a mess, let's be honest. I didn't do very well with the off-cut bits. Let's get rid of them. I'm sure I will bake them up. I will do something with them. They won't go to waste. So that's it. This is how easy it is. This is it. This is what everybody's been raving about on social media, and I keep seeing everywhere this tear and share Christmas tree, chocolate Christmas tree, and you know it's in, and I can see it starting to go already. It doesn't take long to bake. It doesn't take long to make. It is made using shop bought ingredients. You know, we're using pre-made, pre-rolled even as well, puff pastry and chocolate spread. So whilst that's baking, we'll have a little bit of a quick recap, and I'm going to let you guys have a lovely Wednesday evening because Ian's out and I'm quite enjoying it. He hasn't been out for ages because it's with lockdown and everything here, and then you're not being able to meet in groups. But now we're sort of in tier 2, and his mate that he goes cycling with is as well. So they've gone off this evening. They're going to be wet and muddy somewhere in Gloucestershire, and definitely in need of chocolate pastry when he gets home. So anyway, this has been a tear and share Christmas tree. It is, as we know, in the oven. This is that one that's been everywhere. You've seen it on Instagram, you've seen it on Facebook, you've seen it probably on the news sites as well, and definitely on Twitter. It's becoming a real festive party favourite. You can do anything with it. It doesn't have to be sweet. It can be savoury. You can stuff cheese and tomato and spinach, ricotta, and all sorts in there. It doesn't have to be a chocolate spread like we've got. But we've used that, which is what I prefer. I wanted to go with something sweet, but it is absolutely super simple to make. All we had to do was unroll that pastry, put a layer of the chocolate spread on, and then put another layer of the pastry on the top, and then just cut our tree, which is what we did, and twist those branches up. So it's really, really good fun for sharing with, especially with the kids. You know, it's Christmas Eve, it's a movie night, it's holidays or things like that, and it is something they could probably do. You know, you can use the child-safe knives, you can do the cutting for them and let them do the twisting, all sorts of things. There is absolutely no faffing. It's everything from the store. Puff pastry, buying puff pastry is probably my preference when it comes to pastry. So yeah, we, like I say, ingredients wise, oh no, the touchscreen thing is not going to work for me now. Oh, here we go. Something always happens. Typical. There we go. So you've got 2 sheets of puff pastry, and it's only 4 tablespoons of chocolate spread. You don't need to go overboard. Go overboard with it, it's just going to get really, really messy. Just an egg to give you an egg wash. If you don't want to do that, you can wash it with milk instead. When this comes out, I'm going to give it a, come on, pop up. I'm going to give it a sprinkling with some icing sugar over the top. Make it a little bit festive, but you could go in with, what have I gone with it? Cinnamon sugar or something like that as well over the top. And again, you could fill it with mincemeat, so the homemade mincemeat we made the other week. You could fill it with Lotus biscuit and with Biscoff spread. I think this might be a bit too sweet. You might want to fill it with cinnamon sugar and maybe just a little bit of this instead. These are what we've got in the cupboard, which I haven't eaten yet, and also the crunchy spread. You can get milk chocolate or you can get milk chocolate and white chocolate mixes, all sorts like that. So you can go mad or fill it with savoury or sweet. You need a baking sheet, some baking parchment, and as you've seen, you need something to spread the chocolate spread with, and a pizza wheel or a sharp knife just to cut those up. And then we've made the little star for the top with the offcuts with a little star, cookie cutter and pastry brush. So it's really, really, really simple. You know, it's not. But for those of you that wanted the Christmas tree brownies, they are going to be here next week. So I'm going to love you guys and leave you for a Wednesday evening. Let you get on. What is it tonight? It's MasterChef and Great British Menu here for us, or for me. Bits and pieces, more food and some dinner. I will take some pictures of this guy when he's out and post it up. I am on holiday for a couple of days from work. So tomorrow the chocolate orange cookies are going live, and on Friday the Your Log is going live from Sunday, which was an amazing kitchen live. I had so much fun and it worked really, really well. So if you haven't watched that one, go and have a watch when I put the recipe up, because it's a great chocolate log as well. It's perfect for Christmas. And we've also got the Black Forest cheesecake. I've got a couple of days off work and I've got a lot to get through for you guys. And on Sunday, if you're joining me, we are decorating our Christmas cake. So if you made your Christmas cake on Stir Up Sunday, give it a final feed, because on Sunday we're going to be icing and decorating that bad boy ready for the big day. So there's still lots to go. It's really exciting, but it is only 2 weeks to Christmas. But the advent calendar keeps being opened and the chocolate keeps being eaten. So until there's none left, I'm just going to keep going. In the meantime, I hope wherever you are in the world, you are safe and well. I hope you're looking after each other and yourselves. Be good, take care, and I will see you again on Sunday morning. If you've got any questions, don't forget, drop them in the comments box below, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.